He was a son of an ordinary scribe, but he was predicted the imperial power. His natural intellect, insight, energy, and sometimes cruelty let Diocletian not only win, but also keep the power in the huge Roman Empire for 2 decades. The future emperor, Gaius Aurelius Valerius Diocletianus, came from Dalmatia, that was part of the Roman province Pannonia. In his youth, Diocles, as his name was pronounced in Greek, was foretold that he would be an emperor after he killed a wild boar. In order to make the prophecy real, the young man devoted himself to shooting and took the lives of many animals. However, the emperor's throne passed to others, so-called soldiers emperors, who got the power with lightning speed thanks to the support of ancient Roman soldiers, legionnaires, but soon died a violent death, having lost their support. Diocles served Rome devotedly and waited for his hour, believing the prophecy. In 284, legionnaires organized a conspiracy against the young emperor Numerian. Aper, a praetorian, was suspected of his murder. Diocles, who was the commander of the imperial bodyguards, made use of the situation to his advantage, outlawed the conspirators, and killed Aper, whose name meant boar in Latin. So the prophecy came true, and at the age of 39, Diocles became emperor. He changed his name to Gaius Aurelius Valerius Diocletianus. New emperor had self-control, life experience, and wasn't afraid of experiments, even in politics. To help the empire out of a deep crisis, Diocletian created a new state system called Dominatus, according to which the ruler of Rome, Dominus, got the status of an autocratic emperor. Diocletian began to rule without bothering about the Senate and demanded implicit obedience. In 286, Diocletian appointed Maximian, his co-ruler, gave him the title of Caesar, and entrusted him with the power of governing the western part of the empire, with the residence in Milan. Then Diocletian proclaimed 2 more young co-rulers, future successors. It was presumed that in 20 years, Diocletian and Maximian would abdicate of their own free will and pass the state to their co-rulers, brought up and prepared by that time. The system of co-rulers was named the Tetrarchy. It ensured the stability of handing over the power. The Roman Emperor Diocletian, who came from a poor family, turned out to be a thriftful master of the state. His currency reform and new tax collection system ensured steady income to the treasury. The emperor issued an edict on stable wages and fixed prices. Punishment up to death penalty was stipulated for selling goods at higher prices. Blocks were installed at the markets, and executioners were always ready to put a profiteer to death. In Antioch, where the emperor removed the capital, temples, granaries, gunsmith workshops, and thermae began to be built. Thermae were public bathhouses where philosophical debates, poets' performances, and sporting events also took place. Diocletian spent some years in continuous border wars. He successfully suppressed a revolt in Egypt, fought against the Sarmatians. The military reform implemented by him made the Roman army more mobile and effective. In order to win back the lost respect to his power, Diocletian aimed to create the cult of the emperor. A special ceremonial was worked out to worship the emperor. Even arrogant senators had to honor Rome's ruler. Dominus, this is how the Romans called their emperor then, wore tunics woven from golden thread, and even his footwear was decorated with purple and precious gems. Diocletian renewed the persecution of Christians, though his wife and daughter belonged to this faith. According to Diocletian's edicts, any meetings of Christians were forbidden. Churches were demolished. Books were destroyed. Priests were arrested, except those who agreed to serve pagan gods and make a sacrifice at the emperor's statue. In 303, Diocletian visited Rome for the first time. He went to celebrate the 20th anniversary of his rule. And soon he did an unprecedented deed. On the 1st of May, 305, the emperor, Gaius Aurelius Diocletianus, abdicated of his own free will. He returned to his homeland, to the town of Salona in Dalmatia, and settled in a luxurious palace on the shore of the Adriatic Sea. The former ruler of the Roman Empire devoted himself to gardening. When his successors, who needed his advice and experience, asked Diocletian to return to power, he thoughtfully answered, "If you could see the vegetables grown by my hands, you would give up your persuasion." 68-year-old Diocletian took poison, suspecting that a disgraceful violent death was being prepared for him. The ruler of Rome, who used to having power over the whole empire, took his life of his own will.